innovation and entrepreneurship. And a lot of the things I'm going to be sharing today here with you guys, I learned in MIT. But of course, we had quite a few days for all these learnings, and I am going to make some kind of boot camp here and teach all these things in 1.5 hours. So bear with me and keep excited. On top of that, I also tried to start a few companies my whole life. Maybe raise your hands who has a startup or try to start something here. Awesome. Yes. Awesome. Have you guys failed at some point and then had to start again? Okay. Yeah. I see a few. Yeah. Don't be afraid of failing. Look, what we are learning today here is to basically start a company, and if you fail fast, and you start another one, and then you start another one, and you always build on top of this. I also started a company once in Brazil. It didn't work out because I didn't know anything about web development. Eventually, I learned a lot about web development. I started a second project. The second project already went a little bit further, and now I'm on my third project, which in my opinion is successful because it's still running, and we're going to go live soon. And Theodore, you can share your experience.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I can also say that Karen is very entrepreneurial within their own companies, also about entrepreneurship. We have some experience we are willing to share. And I put some pictures here of the startups or the entrepreneurial experiences that I developed. So you see 3 pictures. The one in the top left corner is someone who looks a bit like me on a distance, but it isn't me. But it's a startup called Translated Neighborhood Valley. And basically the idea is to reduce food waste while connecting neighbors. So it's very much a social startup. Then we have in the bottom left, we have a case competition that I co-founded. It's in many ways similar to this event. So I know how amazing it is to experience to bring people together from all over the world. Young leaders, passionate people who work on a certain challenge, in this case a business case, for main partners such as Coca-Cola, but also big other organizations. And then the one on the right was an amazing startup experience. I was part of a recently founded startup in New York. They were working on real estate technology, so data-driven company. Israel 80 founders, amazing startup mentality. I don't know if you've read the book Startup Nation, but very interesting. Also recommendation for you to look into how culture also is a fruitful environment for becoming a startup. But we wanted to actually give the floor to you to ask some questions based on what we just mentioned. Maybe some things you would like to know, or a specific startup or way of working you would like to learn more about. So please raise your hand and ask your question if there's anything you would like to know or share.
Yeah, actually, if you guys have experiences, entrepreneurial experiences, or also work on a startup, we would like to hear from you. So does anyone have anything to share? Who's going to raise their hand first?
Hey, so I don't have any experience, but I have a question or like a tip for people that want to start a startup, but don't really know what to do.
Okay, that's the whole thing about the workshop.
Cool. Then we'll get to it later.
Yes.
Maybe because it's interesting, we had a handful of entrepreneurs in this room. Maybe it would be interesting to learn from you guys how you started your own business. Could maybe address this question already a little bit. Yeah, of course, please.
So when I was like, hello? Do you hear better?
It's for the life.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so when I was like 13 or something, I needed money for I used to be a figure skater, and we went, like in Iceland, there are only like 4 competitions per year, so we always were going all the way like around the world to compete, but that's like so expensive and we get like no funds. So, and when you're like 13, you're quite old. You're not like going house to house like, hey, do you have any cans for me? I'm going on this trip. You're like, I'm too old for that. So what I did is I started my own cake company.
At 13.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was because I really liked doing like big cakes, like tricky cakes. And people were like, wow, this is really nice. And they were starting to like contact me, like people I didn't know, like, I saw this cake from you, like, can you do one for me? So I was like, yeah, I can do one for you. And then I just had this Facebook page, and I just started doing cakes for people, and I got like a lot of money, and I could travel, and I could skate, and everyone were happy.
Ladies and gentlemen, entrepreneurship. Does anyone have more experiences you would like to share?
Also not like that experience. Question.
Perfect. We also like questions.
Hey, I'm from Colombia, and like a few years ago I tried to start like a foundation for prevent teenager pregnancy in a small community. And yeah, I started and have like the motivation to do it, and I have the community and some support for the start the idea and the program. But then I had the opportunity to start my master's, so I did it there. But the thing is like that I feel the most difficult thing to do is like that fundraising part. Like find the fund and not get dismotivated to, because you try and you knock doors and someone say no. Maybe it's how you sell the idea, or maybe it's how you present it, or how not to get dismotivated and keep trying to do like what you want to do.
Okay. You want to
So I think that's a very interesting comment, and what I also see in the field of new technologies is that people are very enthusiastic about those technologies and really start with the technology itself, right? They like the technology so much that they really want to build a product, for instance, with the technology, instead of trying to find an issue first that requires that technology, basically as a means rather than the solution itself, right? And I think that's also why the prototyping is so important, but also have the market fit as soon as possible, put it out there, make sure you make that cake, you bake that cake, you promote that cake, and see if people actually eat it. Is it something they like? Yeah, do they like it? That's great, because then you know it's out there, there's a market, and you can go for it. If not, you're not failing, you're learning. That's the other part I wanted. If you replace the word failing for learning, it's a very relaxed way of becoming an entrepreneur. Because you know every day you grow, basically. Maybe nog last comment or question before we move to the ideation part. Is that okay? Because we have some exercises for you.
It's not like a question, it's more like about comment, and I think it's going together with what you just mentioned, that what I learned during my NGO or my organization was that what really matters is the purpose you have. So if you know you have some goal, and that goal is, for example, to change the way young people think about their future, you shouldn't fall in love with your idea, like I will build this platform and this will change it, because the platform or the idea can fail. But you just say, okay, I learned that, and you find another idea or another way how you reach the purpose. So I think what many people do, and it's a mistake, they fall in love with their idea, and they just really try to actually succeed with this idea. But if it's a bad idea, they think like the entire plan or entire goal they wanted to reach was wrong, but it's not true. It's just they focus on the idea itself, but not on the reaching the goal or the purpose they had. So it was just a comment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, in fact, it's interesting that you touched this topic, because one of our exercises is actually going to touch if your idea is good or not, and how feasible your idea is.
I really like what Lucia told, and that was the point that, you know, like if you have a cause, many ideas goes off the cause, and you validate them early, you try to check, and depending on what the others, how they react, if they are actually helping you get to that cause, you might take decisions on changing the idea slightly or entirely. So the sooner you test with something,
the easier it is, because the more you work on a specific idea before you validate it, the more you get, like, you grab it. And later, believe me, if you have put 2 years into one idea and you go to the market, even if the cost is super nice, but people are not really quite getting it, it will be very hard for you to just like forget about the idea, start again. So better, like try different things at the beginning. So yeah, super nice, yeah. And then it starts again and again. You can take them like
Sure. Yeah, and what I find very interesting is, and you touched upon it as well, is that it's very important that you make it valuable to others and not necessarily to yourself, right? So you should know who you're building for, know basically, on behalf of whom you're working. And I think that introduces a little bit our first exercise. Empathize, right? And I know Karen can talk about this methodology better than I do, so I hand over the microphone.
I doubt that. I think you can talk as good as me. But let's go. How does it going to work today with the exercise? So basically, we're going to empathize. Guys, what we need to focus is we are going to solve a problem. There's actually a problem out there, a problem that maybe we don't even know or we don't even understand, and we're going to understand this problem very, very well. And for this, we're going to empathize with our user, with what the user is feeling, with what the user is thinking, so we can really, really understand the problem. Then, it's a little bit of mixing of empathizing and defining. Finally, when you identify the problem, when you know that the problem is there and how your user feels, then you can start the ideation part. And you can really think big. All the ideas are welcome. Because eventually, when we have all the ideas out there, then we can start drilling down which ones are the best ones. And for this one, I'd like to tell the story about the bear. Do I have 1 minute to tell the story about the bear? I love the story about the bear. Okay. So there was a government, I think it was the Canadian government, and they really had a problem with snow on the poles, on the light poles. The snow was falling, and it was making the light poles really heavy. So they were like, okay, let's see. We have this problem. We understand that we really need to remove the snow. How can we do this? Perhaps a crazy idea. Let's get bears, because Canada has a lot of bears. Let's make the bears shake the pole, right? So the snow falls down. And everyone was like, yeah, but how are we going to attract bears to shake the poles? Well, and if we put honey on top of the poles, so the bears smell the honey and they're like, there's honey there, I'm going to shake it. Okay, but how are we going to put honey on top of the poles? And if we take helicopters and then we fly the honey on top of the pole with the helicopter. But actually, if we fly a helicopter next to the pole, the wind of the helicopter it's already going to remove the snow. So don't be afraid when we ideate to think really, really big. And eventually, we're going to drill down these ideas to a more concrete one. Finally, we prototype. Once you have your idea ready, you start testing it, as he said. Testing is very important. And as soon as you test it, as soon as you build a prototype, you already have a good idea if it's going to work or not. Test the prototype, get feedback, fine-tune. Getting feedback is also another important one, because you also need to understand if the user understands what you are building. Introduction?
Yeah, so we have come up with some exercises for you to practice today, and they will help you to build some entrepreneurial skills, how to start. Right? What I wanted to add, maybe very briefly to the last slide. What I thought, can we go back one? What I thought was very interesting is the idea of crowdsourcing, right, and crowdfunding. So what you see, it's an innovative model in that sense. It's out there for a while. But what some entrepreneurs do is actually generate a lot of ideas before they actually start building. So they already gather that input. I think that's creatively combining different phases of starting a company. But very important that you already have some input before you start, so you know there's something out there. And if you can go back to the next one, then we see different exercises. I will not touch upon them right now, or not further elaborate on them, because we will explain them one by one and we'll go through it together. So in a minute we will also ask you to come to the front and start working in teams. But what we have is an empathy map. Basically it's a tool to develop a deep understanding of the person, the user, the end user, your audience basically. Then we have an as-is scenario map, so you get a better understanding of what this person is doing on a daily basis. You get a kind of feeling for what he or she is doing, but also feeling of where some forms of opportunity lie. That's the second step. Then we have pain points. Does anyone know what pain points are? What we're meaning with that? I see nodding heads, please. Yeah?
The weaknesses of the solution?
Not necessarily. Difficulties. Yeah.
Dennis?
Yeah, the struggle. With what kind of struggle, what kind of problem we try to solve.
Yeah.
To figure out how we can help them.
What prevents them from sleeping at night?
That's a nice way of describing it. For those who have not heard it, he said what keeps people awake at night, right?
What prevents them to sleep at night?
Yes.
What prevents them to sleep at night?
Yeah, it's indeed still focused on the user. And as you can see, 3 of those exercises are also focused on the user, and that's also showing the importance of understanding what you're working on, right? And then we also have the big ideas. So big ideas in terms of using animals, wild animals, to solve your problems is a big idea. And to add a little bit to that, so that anecdote, the person who came up with the bear idea was a different person than the one who suggested the honey, was a different person than the one who suggested the helicopter. And that emphasizes the importance of listening to each other and building on top of each other's ideas, rather than criticizing something that might not work. Because together, by working together, listening and building on those ideas, you actually come up with a solution. Because people think differently, different perspectives, and that's why building or starting with a great company always starts with the people who are able to collaborate together and are able to creatively solve problems, right? Prioritization, creating to each scenario, or to find the right idea to start working.
Shall I introduce the problem?
Yes, please.
Okay, so to make it easy for you, I am going to tell you which problem we're going to solve today. And you know that elections are coming, and it's becoming more and more difficult to trust what you see. So the theme of today is people don't trust the news anymore. That's our problem. Hashtag fake news.
So we are doing this for 2 different reasons. First of all, to cut some time a little bit, because if everyone needs to come up with a challenge in groups, it can take a lot of time. We know you're passionate about different things, and it's all about building the right skills. So we framed it a little bit for you, and we're saying now, how can we basically create a world in which people feel informed when they read the news? Feel informed rather than confused. And you can tailor it to elections. You can also take a different perspective, but we would like to have your opinion and have your ideas and work on this theme. And then we can see in the end what kind of business, potential business plans are coming out of this. And what will definitely be there is some experience in going through those different exercises to work from a big challenge. You're inspiring young people, so also don't be afraid to think big. It's a global problem, and we're very curious to see what you come up with. And maybe Karen can introduce the first exercise.
Yes, but before I introduce the exercise, I want everyone to stand up and make a line here in front of me. Everyone on the line. And then please move. Everyone in one line. Can you maybe move a little bit more? Sorry. Everyone that wants to participate, please stay on the line. You are group 1, group 2, group 3. You can already move, please. So this flip chart, group 1, you're group 2 here, this one on top, you're group 3, you are group 4, the one next to the blue, and you're group 5, the one over there, group 1, group 2, group 3, 4, 5, over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is there. 4 is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you guys have a look here at the PowerPoint, we're seeing an empathy map. And what is an empathy map? It's basically, you're going to pick a person, you're going to name this person. Can be Anna, can be John, can be Karen, can be whatever name you want. And what this person does, why is this person relevant to this problem? Is it a journalist? Is it a user? Is it a concerned person? Is it a politician? And what is this person saying about this problem? What is this person, for example, sharing on social media about not trusting the news anymore? What is this person doing? What is this person thinking? And what is this person feeling? Is this person feeling upset? Is this person feeling lack of trust? Or is this person excited? How does this person feel? So you guys can see the flip charts in front of you. Please take pens here. And start drawing.
So guys, just to give you a little bit of additional understanding, guys. So the idea is we're using Post-its and we're having this flip charts. You think individually, so we all have different ideas. You place it on the flip chart, so you have one cross basically with 4 different squares. You put it there, and in the end you discuss and you try to see some insights if you can build a persona together. But make sure you have the same person, right? So that you. So let me clarify here. If one person is writing down what a journalist is saying, and the other person is writing down what a voter is saying, we have different insights. So make sure you first agree from which perspective you would like to look at it, and then generate some ideas. Try to really put yourself in the shoes of this person, and do it for, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes. Guys, is it clear to you?
what is the actual table is like space or very
Spending a lot of time.
Okay, so you guys need to define. And can someone draw on your card? Okay. Yeah. So please draw Mark and start looking at the posters. What are the things that Mark is looking at to do on next year? What are his concerns regarding the problem with constant meeting? You guys have 5 minutes.
Is it like the Mark who actually doesn't trust media?
Yes, Mark doesn't trust me. He is a you created a persona. So you can say, think about maybe Mark is having worries that people in the trust him. So please go ahead and answer questions. Okay, so I want everyone to come here, where I am. Please come, everyone. Can I go on top of this? Please, everyone come here. Everyone, including group 3. Come on, CEO Billionaire. The first group to explain is going to be group 1. Hello, group 1. Are you ready to explain your persona?
Oh no, he's Bobbis.
We don't want to lose too much time by not being able to hear each other, right? So let's move on and be quiet and practice we hear it. Thank you.
So here we have our politician Bobbis. He tells all his voters that he's against corruption, against fake news, and he is really confident in power because he can remove all the fake news spreaders. And he also says that all people should only trust him. What he does is to build up his coalition and to also defeat his opposition. He likes to be shown as a victim of the fake news because everything is not correct, what is bad about him. He's a good guy. And he likes to spread some rumors about how great he is. Also, he thinks, he thinks how can he make the most out of it. He's on the one hand he sees it as an opportunity, like how he can manipulate and move the people to vote him. On the other hand, he also has some doubts sometimes when he has bad days. He is fearful, but coming to his feelings, then he sometimes feels distrusted, afraid, and in danger of his power. But on the other hand, he also feels He is like the greatest man in power of manipulation, and he can twist around everybody. Yes, this is our politician.
Okay, wow. Group number 2. Who's going to present in group number 2?
So, does everyone hear me? Yep. This is Joe, the father, and so he has some kids, and he says that he wants his children to trust what they can read, to be able to trust what they read in the newspaper, and he's surprised that he has to pay taxes that are going into these like medias, and then they are like not trustworthy. And he spends a lot of time on social media and reading the newspaper, talking to his friends, telling them like, oh man, this is like so weird in this newspaper, and he feels very like confused and manipulated by everything that's going on in the media. Some people are saying like, hey, water is good for you, you should drink a lot of it, so he's being manipulated to do that, you know, but others are saying, no, water is bad, don't drink water, you know, and so he feels like he feels very hopeless and manipulated about this, and so he's thinking that nothing's going to change, and maybe this is all just some conspiracy between the medias. He doesn't know what to do. Everybody's lying.
Everybody is lying. I love how dramatic he is. Everybody's lying, and everyone's in silence, like, oh.
So here we have an outsider, right? And there we have kind of the main person in the story, different issues, different challenges, different solutions as well. You see how important it is to emphasize what you're using here. Let's move on to group 4.
3. Who's going to present group 3?
We present here is the Mark, the CEO of one social network. It's incognito, we don't know who is this guy. Very rich anyway. So he actually thinks about that people use book less. Then he thinks also about the influence, that it's actually the risky business when everybody is like talking about something is going on fishy there on his platform. And he thinks it can actually lower the revenues of the company, and that's why he also thinks about the shareholders, and it's very kind of tragic for him when shareholders are actually disagreeing with something. So he actually cannot. Here is actually out of the control, of the full control, because actually currently the shareholders are controlling. So he is thinking about politics. That actually it's a big platform to make political games. So people spend less on ads, because due to mistrust of the to the lack of trust to the actually to the platform, to the news which is generated and published there. What is this? Reach? Who wrote this? Okay. And the fake news, of course, so he's very concerned about them, but actually he does no action, and he focuses only on revenues, what he does, avoids like taking the responsibility, and he feels being under pressure because the times are actually not as were before, when he was actually representing and could do actually some action to prevent the consequences, what is actually going on. So when he's conflicted between morals and money, and he feels in danger, and the trust is decreasing. So when he thinks about the
Thank you. Okay, let's go to number 4. Who's going to present for number 4?
14.
Number 14, please come here. Who's going to present?
Okay.
Okay. So in our case, we have Bob, who's a student at the university, and he is someone who navigates through his social media accounts. So it's not always like he's actively looking for information, but sometimes would come across like certain news and articles. And he is someone who has mixed feelings. So he's confused, tired, stressed. He's being criticized or criticizes the different media accounts that he comes across, and he is someone who is like loved by his family, wants to contribute positively to the society. What he does is that he, apart from navigating the internet and being an internet user, he checks or tries to double check the information that he comes across. He wants to start a revolution. He's a creative person. He does yoga, singing, in order to overcome the stress and the depression he's going through. Yeah, and he thinks that, like, how can I be certain of the information that I read? He probably has also like different thoughts going on in his mind, so like no one is too small to make a difference. So some days it's positive, some days it's so overwhelming and negative. And at the same time, he would say things like, the world is changing, change is coming, there is a lack of trust about election procedure, politicians are liars, nothing will change. So it's like a mixed feeling situation for him.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's very interesting. And what I really enjoy as well is that we have different generations, right? So we have a politician, but also we have younger people. We have a father who could have been the father of this student. And if I look to this one, we have another student, which means we have already some competition here. We have to move fast, right, guys? So maybe group 5 would like to introduce the person and see if there are any differences, similarities.
So I'm going to introduce you our character. It's Tom. He's quite similar to this other person, but he's a bit different. He's 23 years old. He just graduated, but he's looking for a job and he's unsuccessful. Sorry. So what he thinks is, okay, nothing will change with the old systems. I want to vote for a new candidate, like an outsider. He's also saying, I do not have time to check information. He's a bit lazy to check information he reads. So he's sensitive also to compelling speeches. He's overwhelmed, a bit angry. He's quite disappointed by the system. So he's a perfect person to say that, oh, they are all liars, saying liars. Media are corrupted, the government is corrupted. Something should change, but he's a bit depressed, and he's quite someone that could vote very extreme or very unpredictable choice of voting.
Thank you very much. Exercise is already introduced. So what we are going to do here is a generic exercise to make sure we have a better understanding of the day, the life of this person. So we have already generated ideas on what he or she is doing, what he or she is thinking. What we want to do is group them differently, so we create a bit of a cluster here. And what I would like to ask you in addition to that, and of course you can read the instructions as well, but make sure that you cluster a little bit, that you think in different times, periods, right, in the day, that you also realize, because I thought there was a little bit lacking in your description so far, how they consume information. So make sure you have really an understanding of when he or she and what kind of way he or she is consuming that information.
Yeah, this is basically a timeline. So you can do something like wakes up, reads the news, go to work and talks to his colleagues, come back home and have dinner with his family, and then scrolls through Facebook before going to bed. And then in this timeline, underneath, so the phases are the phases of the day, the things that he's doing during the day. And then underneath, you're going to put the things that he's doing, the things that he's thinking on this specific moment of the day. I have here some tape for you guys, so what I'm going to ask you is please remove this paper. You're going to use a few of these post-its here to move around to the next post-it. So just remove it, take it perhaps here on the wall. You guys that are on the magnetics, you can just put on the side, also with the magnets. And then we start drawing the next one. So here's some tool for you.
How much time do we give them? 10 minutes? 5 minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
And
That's something the body is because you want to just feel things going on far away. That's your paper. What really bothers you. That if you want to feel something. That's a problem that you have when you in this case, it's for a people need to what they get. That will be a big I also have an argument or something like what at some point bother me with I don't know.
Sometimes you get asked for free consultants or something like this. I
watch the camera. What did you do? This is just It's zooming by itself. It's zooming.
What do you guys have? You have 3 for impactful and a lot of visibility here. This one is also very feasible. Okay, so you can also come up with 2 ideas. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask everyone to play back again what we did in the beginning. And then you're going to pitch your idea, elevator pitch, like in my workshop. Cool? So, what do you guys have here? So, make Bob is great again. In a talk show. Guys, can you please pay attention to me here? We're going now for the last part of this workshop in which you are going to pitch me your ideas. So, I would like to ask all of you guys your attention, please. Team 5. Hello. Okay, who thinks is the most prepared team? Yeah? You ready? I like it. So everyone please come here to team number 2 and I want a round of applause for the most prepared team. Okay, who wants to pitch?
I can pitch. All right, so what we want to do is we actually want to just make a campaign about fake media and how to like recognize it, because we know there are some websites that are already existing that are like NewsGuard or something that tell you like this has been verified or something, but people just don't know about it. So what we want to do is make a campaign that's hashtag fake news here, and yeah, just to tell people about it.
Okay, very good, very good. So, which social media would you use for that?
All of them. Instagram is really good for it. Facebook.
Newspapers. Also newspapers, and we would make also a television campaign, because the people who don't like know that what they see is fake news are usually people who are not like using this new technology, so they just see what is in TV and they trust it. So we actually also target these medias.
Okay, awareness campaign, I love it. It's simple, it's very feasible, it's going to reach a lot of people. Thank you very much. Okay, is there any other team who feels very prepared to pitch? Yeah, and who wants to pitch? Yeah, perfect.
So I'm Mark. I'm a poor, confused billionaire, as you can see here. I have lots of problems, but my main problems, as I think, like I'm pretty rich, so okay, this is relevant, but we can focus on actually the problems that pester me most, which is public perception of myself and my company, and the legal problems that I don't want to face at all. So regarding public perception, I think it would be great to do something with Facebook image. And they always accuse me of doing something wrong or being like the demon or the evil face. So why don't I just open up and give the opportunity for this public and all these people that keep accusing me to actually try to solve this issue? Because all these bastards are using Facebook every day and they just keep accusing me, and I open the internet for them. Almost 8 billion people are using it for now, so let's 8 billion people solve this problem. I'm tired of dealing with that, so let them go and fix it, and they will not blame me after all if they take a wrong decision eventually. Also, this American government and Congress keeps inviting me to all these briefings, so I always feel like they want to do something. They want just to put me to jail or take away my billions. So I feel very insecure about the situation. And I want to change some things about this legal problem. So for example, regarding the published content, which every user is publishing pretty much every day, or some crazy people every 15 minutes. So maybe I can just shift the definition of the content owner from Facebook to each and every one of you, so that you take responsibility for what you publish. But also I can do the same thing that Google Chrome does with fake websites, and I can just inform the users when they reshare some information that, hey guys, by the way, so that you know, if you reshare this and this is fake news, you can face some legal consequences. So I can't fact check all billions of news and things that they're sharing, but they could face some things themselves. So this is two things.
Thank you. So, I would like to hear actually from group number 4. I'm very curious. Please come everyone here to group number 4. Who's going to take?
Bob is cool. Be like Bob. Bob got depressed due to the political system, due to the fake news. So, as a gamer, he invented a solution. And Bob's solution is a game on ethical politics, in which teenagers are getting sick and tired of everything that's... sorry for that, yes, I know Bob creates this circumstance. So teenagers are addicted to games. Instead of playing games where they shoot themselves, they can play games where they learn the political system, where they can understand what the political parties promise, when they can fact check what those promises are. And by playing and by learning to win in those games, we create future political leaders. Be like Bob.
Yeah, so if you want to donate for Bob, the IBAN is BE727. Thank you very much, guys. Group number 5.
We're in the process.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Our character is looking for a job. He's a new graduate. We told that before.
Yeah, it prefers, yeah, sorry, it prefers she as a pronoun. She's from LGBTQI community, and apart from being discouraged by fake news, she can't see that she can't see herself in the news. In the media, she's not represented at all, and she feels discriminated, and both by parents, by the environment, and by the political system, and by the news. So we were about to find a solution to her case. We thought about a few ways, like checking the news from its real sources, looking for verifications, and maybe creating a new campaign in her own community, LGBTQI community, which she can find true facts, and which she feels also more comfortable as she's also presented there. So we couldn't finish. Thank you.
Something like this.
No, but I think it's really, really nice that all the personas were men, and this persona is not straight. All the other personas were straight, and this one was not. So, of course, it's an extra challenge, and it's very much appreciated that you guys were thinking of this persona. Thank you, guys. And if you want to have some more time to prepare afterwards, you can find me on dinner and pitch again. Cool. And now I think we have group number 1.
So, we have the perfect solution to make Bob is great again. So, a few of our ideas were to bribe voters, to spread rumors, have contacts to the main medias. But you know, we think one of the best ideas were, first of all, to make Bob is great again. Merchandise, bribe some journalists. And you know what's really feasible is also like to be in a talk show, give speeches on TV, and of course we will use target marketing with Cambridge Analytics and you know all the AI stuff. But the biggest thank you. And the biggest no-brainer is to do a tour to be closer to the people. And since we are all here, we can help Bobus now and take a picture and make a hashtag make Bobus greater again. So let's take a selfie. Should we take a selfie together?
Yes. Everyone, raise your hands! She's future
All right, that was amazing. Five great presentations, different personas, different insights, different solutions, and hopefully you have experienced a little bit. First of all, how much time it takes to get to know the persona you're developing a solution for, right? So we have 20 more minutes. We need to rush to dinner, which will be great, and then we can have drinks, of course. But usually these kind of workshops are multi-day. So bear that in mind. It's not that you're not fast enough or whatsoever. No, it actually takes a lot of time to emphasize, to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. But hopefully you have experienced in a nutshell how nice it can be to start with a challenge and then work towards a solution in a very structured and professional way. And it takes experience, practicing, and of course also it helps a little bit if you can, you know, decide what challenge you're working on, what purpose you're working on, with whom you're working on it. All these different things you can, you know, for next time, bear in your mind. It will help you a little bit to go faster through the process and get to an end result that you really support as a team. But great job everyone, amazing. Lots of ideas, lots of faces being stickered, a winning selfie, and great participation, although we know you're very tired as well after a long day, but amazing again, and thank you very much. Is there anything you would like to add, Karen?
You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. Time to eat.